Hello, everyone, and welcome to your course on emotional intelligence. I hope that this course can provide you with some clarifications about what emotional intelligence is and how you can apply it in your daily life. My name is Camila Lorenzo. I am from Argentina, but I consider myself a global citizen. I have been part of AIESEC for 4 years, working in AIESEC in Argentina, Panama, and Morocco, and right now I am creating courses, virtual courses for Academia Brillar, which is from Argentina. In the topics of today's talk, we're going to be understanding what emotional intelligence is, how to achieve it, and I will provide you with some tips and tricks that worked for my life, that worked for me, that maybe can help you out as well. The definition of emotional intelligence given by Mayer and Salovey in 1997 is the following. Emotional intelligence is the ability to perceive emotions, to access and generate emotions so as to assist thought, to understand emotions and emotional knowledge, and to reflectively regulate emotions so as to promote emotional and intellectual growth. This seems like a very scientific and very long description, but to give some more clarity to it, I highlighted the most important parts. Emotional intelligence is about perceiving emotions. The perception of the emotions, which means understanding what is exactly that we are feeling and that the other person is feeling. Being able to perceive the emotion in ourselves and also in others. To access and generate emotions. This is like the next level of emotional intelligence, to actually be able to go into ourselves and access the emotion that we need and generate them so that we can help our process of thought or even our day-to-day lives. It means generating, creating these emotions from scratch. To understand our emotions, meaning identifying exactly what we are feeling. It is not just about happy or sad. There's so many more emotions to be understood. Regulating emotions, actually being able to have control on those emotions when they come out. And all of this has the purpose and the objective of promoting emotional and intellectual growth. So the purpose of it is not for emotional manipulation or for you to pretend to be happy when you're sad. No. The idea is to be able to understand the emotions that you're having so that you can have growth, so that you can be, a better human and have better interactions with the world and be more productive and be more at peace and calm with your emotions. So, in simplified words, what is emotional intelligence? It's basically being friends with these guys. I don't know if you guys saw the movie Inside Out by Disney Pixar. If you haven't, go check it out. It can teach you a lot about emotional intelligence. But basically, these are like the 5 main characters of the movie. From left to right, we have all the emotions of a little girl. They are inside a little girl's mind. From left to right, they are anger, fear, joy, disgust, and sadness. And the importance that the movie represents to us is not only being able to identify what we're feeling, but actually understanding that not only joy, not only the positive emotions are the ones that we need to care for and try to promote, but all emotions need to be embraced. Because if we do not process anger, if we do not process sadness, if we do not process disgust, all of these emotions stay there bottled up and then we kind of malfunction. So we don't want that. We want to embrace our emotions and be at peace with our emotions. So basically, understanding our emotions is the first step. Then we have embracing our emotions, controlling our emotions, creating our emotions, and connecting to the emotions of others. So like the first 4 are actually related to ourselves, understanding, embracing, controlling, and creating. And we also need to understand the emotions of others and connect to the emotions of others. it's not just about us and our relationship with ourselves, but also with our relationship as a social being that we are. So how do we actually achieve all of these steps? Let's go one by one. The first one is to understand our emotions. Let me just check for a second. How long have we had? Okay. Understanding our emotions is the first step. What does this mean? It means to identify exactly what emotion you are going through at that specific moment. It is not just those 5 main emotions that I showed you before. It's not just about being happy or sad or angry. Actually, we have a very broad array of emotions that we need to be able to identify so that we can actually take action towards it. So right in the center of the circle, you can see like the most basic ones that I said: happiness, fear, anger, disgust, sadness, bad, surprise are also added here. But if you go deeper into each one of these, you can understand that there's a whole other, gray area of emotions. So it's not just about being happy. Are you happy? But why are you happy? Are you feeling proud? Inside this proud feeling, is it about successfulness or is it about confidence? When you feel bad, are you feeling bored? Are you feeling busy? Are you feeling stressed? Are you feeling tired? And even inside of those emotions, you have others. If you're tired, what is it? Is it that you feel sleepy or do you feel unfocused? So we need to identify exactly what we're feeling so that we are able to process that emotion correctly and move on with our lives. Which is the second part of this exercise, embracing our emotions. Embracing our emotions, all the positive emotions and also the negative emotions. We want to embrace them all. Because as I said before, if we keep those emotions bottled up, if we ignore them, if we neglect them, if we say, I cannot feel angry or sad right now, and we move on, then those emotions are going to arise at moments that we don't want them to, or are going to affect us even physically. Sometimes our bodies have symptoms that actually come from stress or anger or sadness that is just bottled up inside us, and it makes us malfunction because we're not processing them. So when you have these emotions, what do you do? What do you do when you feel sad? What do you do when you feel angry? If your answer is somewhere around, I drink a beer, or I eat something really tasty, or I just keep on working, or I don't know, I smoke because I'm anxious, or I eat a piece of chocolate like I would do, me, Camila, I would eat chocolate if I feel sad. Well, those are all actions that are actually numbing down those emotions. They're not making us process those emotions. They're not making us face those emotions. We need to actually stand face to face to that sadness and ask, why am I sad? What is going on? Why do I feel like this? What made me feel like this? How can I move past this? We need to do all that process, because if not, we're just numbing the emotion away. We're just distracting ourselves just by working more. Maybe sometimes workaholics, it's not that they love their work, it's just that they need to, you know, hide from what they're feeling, what they're going through. So what is it exactly that you do? If you do something that numbs the feeling, then you're not embracing your emotions. You need to embrace them and actually face them and understand, okay, what is going on? I embrace this emotion and I let it flow through me. If you feel angry, allow yourself to feel angry. If you want to translate that into a piece of paper, you can write down. That's a very good exercise to process emotions. The next step is to control our emotions. In order to control those emotions, so first you understood it, you identified what you're feeling, and then you embrace it. Now let's control it. How do we control emotions? It's not that we actually can be like, okay, I don't want to feel stress ever in my life and that's it. It's not that way. We are humans. We're going to feel all of these emotions, negative and positive, at some point. But we can have some actions in order to control them a little bit. So for example, getting to know yourself, really getting to know yourself, and being able to anticipate what emotions may be triggered by certain things. So for example, if you know that you need to have um, a very stressful meeting in your work space, and you know that it's going to stress you out, like you have a meeting in which, for example, they're going to analyze your performance. You know that meeting is going to bring stress, which will make you feel bad, will make you feel a bad emotion. So it's not that you can avoid feeling stress at all, like you're a human being, you will feel stressed. But what you can do is, aha, so I know this meeting will make me feel stressed in the future. So what I can do is to actually create some actions in order to anticipate that stress and lower it down. So for example, if you know that if running to the meeting afraid of being late is going to be something that is going to increase that stress even more, then wake up earlier that day. If you know that you need to have a lot of energy, then try to eat healthy for the last 2 days before the meeting, for example, so that you can have a lot of nutrients and you can feel strong and energized in order to face that moment. You can have certain actions in order to anticipate the emotion that is going to trigger you. A very silly example, I cannot watch scary movies. They freak me out. I get very scared and I don't want that emotion, so I just don't do it. I just decided that I will never watch a scary movie ever in my life. So far, so good. So identify what is the emotions that you feel, get to know yourself and be able to anticipate them. And another thing is asking yourself, this which I am feeling right now, is it the emotion that I need in this moment to actually enjoy the moment or to actually make the best out of it, be more productive? Um, I can give you a very personal example, but I will give it anyway so that you can understand. Um, for example, I was leaving the country I was living in, and I had only a couple of hours left with my partner. Okay, in my love relationship. What happened? He did something that made me very, very, very angry. He was not on time, and he set me up. Whatever. It made me very, very angry. But it was the last, I don't know, 4 or 5 hours that I was going to share with this person until God knows when. And what I did at that moment is I kind of hit pause and I thought, I feel a lot of anger and I have the right to feel this anger because he messed up. But I only have 4 hours left with this person. I want to enjoy these 4 hours. I don't want them to be 4 angry hours. So I need to process the anger in another moment, pause it, and be able to enjoy the moment. And that's what I did. I just communicated, hey, I am feeling very angry right now towards you. Let me process. So I just processed with some music. We were in the car. And at a certain point, I turned and I said, okay, I'm ready. Let's have, a very good time in this last couple of hours. So ask yourself, this which I am feeling, is it what I really want to be feeling at this moment? If you are sharing a moment with your family which you haven't seen in ages, is it really anger that you want to feel? Is it sadness? Or do you want to enjoy those precious moments, living in the present moment with the people around you? Then this is like next level ninja. Let me just check how much time we have left because I love to talk. Okay, so creating your emotions is next level. How can you create emotions? It's not like you can do abracadabra and abracadabra, no abracadabra and actually create an emotion out of nowhere. You need to create the environment that triggers that emotion that you need. So, for example, if I want to feel calm, if I want to feel relaxed, and I'm in a space where everything makes me stressed, there's dirty dishes, there's clothes to wash, I don't know, the house is a mess, of course, I'm not going to feel calm and relaxed. So, what I need to do is create the environment that is going to allow me to feel that emotion. So, maybe I can go outside into the balcony with a really warm cup of tea and open a book. This is something that really relaxes me and gives me a lot of positive emotions. So I can just enjoy that moment. If you know that you want to feel happy, how can you create an environment in which you can feel happy? How can you create an environment that is less less stressful? Instead of creating the emotion, which is kind of a magician's job, you can create the environment that triggers the emotion that you need. And lastly, connecting to the emotions of others. So far we were understanding our emotions, really identifying what is the thing that I'm feeling right now, so that then we can be ready to embrace them and to say, okay, I feel you. I understand what I'm feeling, I'm processing, I'm flowing, and I'm going to embrace this emotion. Then we learned how to control those emotions and how to create those emotions. Those were all about us, about yourself as a person. But now we need to communicate with others. Of course, we're social beings. How can we be more emotionally intelligent with the people around us? It is also about understanding what other people may be feeling, connecting to the emotions of others and embracing those emotions as well, not rejecting them, validating what the other person is actually going through, what the other person is feeling, instead of creating a wall, actually validating what they're feeling and connecting to their emotion. How can we do this? By being empathetic and compassionate. Empathy is feeling the other person's feelings, is putting yourself in their shoes and actually understanding what the other person is feeling. Compassion is about giving love when you're faced with someone else's bad feelings, with someone else's suffering. Empathy can be very exhausting sometimes. Some jobs can require a lot of empathy, like doctors or teachers. And that can be really exhausting, but you can choose compassion as well. Giving love, giving a supporting shoulder to cry on, giving a hug to someone else that is suffering right now. The best thing is to be empathetic. How can we feel empathy if we have never felt empathy before, for example? How can we start doing this? How can we be more empathetic? You can think about something that happened to you that may relate to the emotions of the other person. So if the other person is feeling sad because, I don't know, they lost their job, then maybe you can search in your brain what other experiences can be similar. If you never lost a job, like what other experiences can have the similar emotions that the other person is feeling, and kind of, putting yourself in their shoes and understand, oh, okay, I see you, I hear you, I feel your pain, I understand it. It will never be just as the same as me, but I am with you and I understand you and I support you. This is very, very important. We are social beings, so this emotional intelligence strength can help us to actually strengthen our connections with people around us in all the areas of our lives. So not only with your family, with your parents, with your brother, with your sister, but even with your life partner, with the person that you're sharing your life with your children. That's a very important one, feeling empathy towards your children. With your colleagues at work, with your boss, maybe understanding their stress, their anxiety, with someone you lead, someone who is below you, to say in a way. So we can connect to the emotions of others in every single area of our lives, and that's going to make us have richer connections with other people. And it can make them, connect to you even more. So those are how, what is emotional intelligence and how we can achieve it. And these are just a couple of tips and tricks that have helped me in my experience. There's just three so that I don't overwhelm you. So the first one is mindfulness. Mindfulness is right now very, it's a topic that a lot of people are discussing. And it's a very important thing to start to practice. What does it mean? It means being mindful, totally present in the present moment, with all of our senses, with all of our mind, all of our senses open to the experience of what is happening right now. Many people talk about mindfulness and, oh, mindfulness is amazing, but they don't actually practice it themselves. Mindfulness is something to practice in every single second of your life. So for example, if you're taking a shower, are you thinking about the exact Next thing you're going to do once you end the shower, are you thinking about all the tasks on your to-do list that need to be done? Or are you actually being mindful, feeling the warm water in your shoulders, hearing the water flowing, smelling the scent of the shampoo? Are you feeling mindful of every single moment? This is going to allow you to have more connection with yourself, with what you are feeling, and also make you more present for someone else when they're telling you something, when they're sharing something with you. The second one is zooming out. This is something that I really love to do when I work in teams. So there's a lot of moments in which we have meetings, there's discussions. So what I like to do is to zoom out of the experience, to actually try to get like if my mind went outside of my body and actually saw myself and observed the whole scene, the whole scenario. Why is this person reacting like this? What is this body language of this other person telling me? How am I reacting? Maybe that's not what they meant. Am I actually reacting, or am I processing what they're saying and then acting on it? So I like to zoom out and to actually observe from above. And the third one is communication. Communication is very important, not only with others, but with yourself. To be able to be totally transparent with yourself and communicate, this is what I'm feeling. This is what I'm feeling right now. To communicate with yourself, I recommend you start journaling, writing and expressing the feelings and the thoughts that are going through your mind. Many times while we're writing, we don't filter our thoughts. So that can lead you to realizing very, very incredible things about yourself, about the things that you're feeling, about the things that you're thinking. And also communicating to others. I feel bad. I feel angry. Try to stop saying I'm fine for everything and actually communicating what it is that you are feeling. That is going to allow better social connections, better social interactions, and it can improve any social interaction, even at work. So those are the tips and tricks I recommend for you guys to try out. And don't forget, embrace them, because they are beautiful, and it is really beautiful to be human. This is Camila Lorenzo, and I will answer any of your doubts if you have any. Thank you so much for this moment.